Hello and welcome back to a brand new season. This is the first round of the 2025 SRK Sprint Championship. I've taken the step up from the novice category into the main senior class, the Sprint Series. I'm here for most of the rounds. I've signed up to as many as I can take part in, and this is the very first one. It's a brand new circuit, Formula Fast, or a brand new circuit to me at least. I know a lot of competitors have driven here before. I'm stepping up into the amateur class, which at this round has 30 people here out of the 70 drivers that have turned up. So it's going to be very competitive, even within my own class. I'm definitely not going to be finishing top half overall, as there's going to be a lot of tough competitors. But we'll just see what we can do. As you can see in practice now, making a bit of an overtake, but a bit of contact. The driver managed to squeak their way back through as we're coming on down. This is a very short practice session before we head into the first of the races. Again, diving up the inside, but however, I was completely too late on the brakes, locking up, and the driver giving me a look behind. So this is the first race of the day. There's 10 drivers in each of these heats. For this very first one, I'm going to be starting in 8th place. Let's just see what we can do. I know I've got 2 quick drivers behind me. I've got a lot of quick drivers ahead as well. But I've got some drivers in my class as well. So let's just see what we can do, see how high we can get up the grid. So at the start, looking to go up the inside, which isn't really the place to be unfortunately, because then look at that, I get one driver coming through my inside and then I'm still out wide. It's so slippery at the start of the day, and that means I'm dropped all the way down into last place, which is not what I want to be doing. I knew in my head as the first driver went by and then the second one came by as well, I was thinking, yeah, there goes the train. You can see a driver dives into the pits. That's because there are pit stops in this round. During every heat race, we're going to have to make one pit stop. However, you're not allowed to pit on the first lap, and I know this, and so should everybody else. So we know that driver is going to be having a penalty. So really, that's one free position already at the start, which I'm very pleased about. It's going to be some longer heat races than you can normally do in these sprint series. So there's a lot of time to make up positions, especially with those pit stops. You don't have to overtake on track. And you can see now I am going for an overtake on track, taking advantage really of the mess up ahead. It's basically the reverse of what happened to me at the start. I know he's right on my tail, so I stick to the inside, however, just completely run wide and just let him get back through and pull quite clear. You can see I don't really have the pace of those BSR drivers, but instead I'm just closing in, and there you go, driver ahead, dives into the pits. It's perfect, it means I have some clear track, and actually you can see cart 8 invalid stop is on that display board. That's because the driver ahead, who just pitted, again had made a mistake and needs to come in and pit again. So that's 2 positions now that I've gained through other drivers making mistakes. So let's just see what we can do now. The laps are super short, it's only around 30 seconds for one lap. You can see I'm already closing in on this driver ahead. Definitely have a lot more pace and just run a bit wide, but then all I can do is just hit them into the back of them. But then they run wide again at the next corner, and I'm just pushing them through the snail section as you come out onto the back straight. Now this is the driver I failed to overtake twice in practice, so let's see what we can do now. I dive up the inside, nice and late on the brakes. I'm very pleased about that one. Actually making a proper overtake for the first time all day. It's always risky, but no, I was really pleased. Definitely the practice mistakes helped to get that one right. There you can see now the driver, Sam, has already pitted. I know he's going to be really quick. There's no point me being held up by him, so I just let him by. He gives me a nice thumbs up. And my hope was that he was going to get caught up in the drivers ahead and slow them down, because I know the 2 up ahead of him haven't done their pit stops yet, and they're in the same class as me. That's exactly what happens here. You can see the driver just force wide, everybody following through. I'm thinking maybe I can join in as well. I'm just not quite close enough, unfortunately. Yes, shaking his head as he's lost the position. I was thinking about going up the inside, but I knew that was going to be far too risky. And then the driver ahead just gets out of the way, and then the other one dives into the pits, and then I'm looking to go for an overtake, but you just can't really do that there. That was a lot of chaos, but it means I've closed in a lot already on those 2. One of them has now dived to the pits though, so I need to make sure we're not losing too much time here, and so when we make our pit stops we can come out ahead of him. You can see just going by on the left there, But I'm already looking to try and get by this driver, but he goes defensive, so I go to the outside and I just run wide and just lose a lot of momentum really. Just wasn't really taking the corner properly. Then into the final corner as well, losing a lot of time. So it's a bit of a shame that I've lost a lot of time, but then you see the yellow flags come out just as we get to the back straight. It means the carts are limited in their speed. So I'm going flat out, but the carts are obviously going a lot slower. And you can see the driver ahead dives into the pit lane, but just as the green lights come on. I think if the yellow lights had stayed on for a while, then making a pit stop under yellows would probably cost you less time. So I was very fortunate that when that driver did dive into the pits, it immediately went back to green. So it means now I've got a clear track ahead of me. We're coming right up to near the end of the race now. I'm in third position, but I know that's going to drop down once I do make my pit stop. I've been closed in by a couple of drivers that have made their pit stops, so I know I need to get a hurry on. And again, I don't want to be losing time, being overtaken by them or letting them pass. So there we go, hand up already. I'm just saying, yep, I'm coming into the pits. You don't need to worry about me anymore. And with these pit stops, you need to stop at each gate and wait until the green light comes on. However, you can go before the green light comes on, as long as your cart still registers across the line until that green light comes on. So you can see there, I've left about half a second margin of that green light coming on. That means I come out into 5th place, which I was very pleased about. There are a couple of boards around the track, so you can just about see like what position you're in and even some of your lap times as well. You can see there I'm looking off to the right. I know this is the last lap, I know I'm in 5th place, and I haven't really got much pressure behind, and I'm far too far away from the drivers ahead. Those ones that were on my tail just before my pit stop, they're the positions ahead. So it means I'm not going to be catching them. That is the checkered flag.
Oh yes, P5! Hell yeah! Woohoo! Woohoo! Oh man, that's good.
Absolutely over the moon with that one. I was even more surprised when I got back to the pits and found I'd been promoted into 4th place. That was a phenomenal first race. I definitely got a bit lucky with the penalty ahead, but everything else was my own doing. So now we're coming on to the second of these 3 heats. This is my 7th place start. Technically it's the middle of the grid start, even though I'm only 1 place higher than my back of the grid start. As you see now, I'm going quite defensive in the first few corners, making a little bit of contact, but I just really don't want to give up the inside into that first hairpin. And it means I'm just hanging on to this 7th place. I want to try and close in on the drivers ahead. I'm managing to do exactly that, in fact far too effectively, as I smash into the back of them, everyone just braking a bit early. Yeah, that was quite an ambitious move. Fortunately, no real harm caused there. Instead, looking up the inside now, but then I just go so half-hearted for the overtake. Instead it means the driver behind me is overtaking me instead. That was a really big mistake for myself. I should have just sent it up the inside. I clearly had the gap, and I definitely could have outbraked the driver ahead and taken that apex. But instead it means I'm losing a position, which is a real shame. You can see I definitely have more pace than the driver, who I was just trying to overtake. Again, just making a little mistake coming out of that hairpin. You can see the very next lap. This is the driver ahead does the move I should have done. It's really annoying that I've not been able to manage to get that one done. But now we're in the same position we were a lap ago. Let's just see what we can do. I'm already looking to the inside, and I absolutely go for it. Somehow managed to avoid making contact with the driver ahead, but I do run a bit wide. Fortunately, you can see the marshals already given a thumbs up, basically saying, yep, that overtake was clean. I don't think we actually made any contact as well, not even side-to-side contact as we turned in. But yeah, I'm already going defensive into the next sequence of corners. You can see the driver ahead is making more overtakes, and that really costs you a lot of time. And so I've already closed in on this driver in the blue suit. And again, I'm looking on the very next lap to again make the same exact move. He sees I'm there. I think, let's just go for it again. I do make a bit of contact this time with the driver ahead, but fortunately it's not enough to upset either my car or his. And we're going through, and I'm just making a horrible mess of that final corner. Turning in like 2 or 3 times is not really what you want to do. I'm going defensive now, but being pushed from behind. I'm getting hit again. I'm not happy at all. The driver behind was just doing some stupid stuff right there. or at least it seemed that from where I was sat. And then going defensive, well, you can see the board up ahead says contact warning. That's for the driver who's been hitting me. Then into that hairpin at the end of the back straight. I run wide, and I'm not sure if I just locked up my brakes or if he was pushing me wide. I couldn't really feel anything, but I definitely was not braking as effectively as I thought I would be. Maybe he was pushing me wide, but I didn't lose any more positions. Just a bit of time loss. You can see now closed in on the driver ahead. So yeah, let's try and see if we can make another position before we have to worry about pit stops. And just like that, the driver runs wide and just gifts me the position. Makes a little bit of contact behind me, but that's perfect because I know exactly where he is, and it means I don't have to worry about defending, and I'm able to just pull clear. So as we're going on forward now, just about halfway through the race, I'm lacking a bit of pace, back into that third position that I was through the first race. Yeah, I'm just not really feeling it. I'm just a little bit wide, and you can just see there, the driver who has made that pit stop and would go on to win this race, already getting the advantage and just pulling clear. So I try and follow for a few laps, as you can see, but already I'm just losing so much. I really struggled with that very last corner. But yeah, I'm just going defensive now. I know I've got a driver behind me who has made their pit stop, so I'm only ahead of them because I haven't pitted, not because I am quicker than them. So there's not much point in trying to defend from them, and I certainly don't want to lose time being overtaken by them. Let's just see what we do now. Yeah, once again, hand raised, coming into the pits, and let's just see how good these pit stops are. You want to be losing as little time as possible. There you go, that was quite a good stop there. And as we come in again, I started to go a bit earlier that time, and that turned out to be good because I made my quickest stop there that I'd done all day. Just coming out into 7th position now, and while I didn't know at the time, I was in quite a bit of a no man's land really. The gap to 6th started off as 3.5 seconds, but now it's 6.5 seconds. Meanwhile, the gap to 8th is again 6.5 seconds. As you can see, just now coming onto this very final lap, the gap is growing to the driver ahead and it's growing to the driver behind. I'm very much settled on this 7th place, which is I certainly took that. I was very pleased to sort of get that kind of result. This is the sort of result I thought I'd be getting through the day. My aim was top half in my class, so 15th out of the drivers in the amateur class. But currently, after heat 2, I was sat in 2nd place, and this is my best start of the day. One more heat to go. I get to start in 2nd place. Let's see how many positions I can hang on to. I'm not going to be winning this. Just as a bit of spoilers, the driver ahead I know is quicker than me, and there's a lot of drivers behind who are quicker than me as well. So just going a bit defensive into those first few corners. And this is a lot later in the day now. I haven't been racing for a few hours now. But yeah, just coming round, you can already see I've lost a bit of margin. But I do have a gap behind, and then I just break into this hairpin, and I basically just pull the anchors on, because turns out the track has really gripped up through the course of the day. So it means I'm braking like 5 or 6 metres far too early, and it just it just causes a concertina effect up. And once again, I'm going defensive into these first few corners because I really don't want to lose position. Now, I had made an agreement with the driver behind that I was basically just going to let him through in exchange for him not trying to overtake me in the first sort of lap or so. And I'm really causing him issues behind. I know I am. He's hitting me into that back hairpin because again, I'm just braking far too early. You can see him just going through. But yeah, so I just let him through. I let the driver behind through as well because I'm not actually fussed about him. It's the driver behind all of us now that I'm worried about because I'm in the same class. Oh, and there goes that driver that I didn't want to overtake me. So that wasn't successful. That was the whole point of that agreement, was to keep Baker behind both of us. But instead, what's going to happen is we're both going to lose out. So that was a pretty failed attempt at trying to make an agreement with someone. Instead, we both lost 2 positions, and I lost out to the driver I said I was going to let through as well. Yeah, I can't say I'm going to make many more agreements through the rest of the year after this showing. We'll see them as they come up. Yeah, I know I just really want to be sticking with the driver ahead. That's actually one of the drivers who I managed to beat in my very first race, and I just had a lot more pace then. But as this track has really gripped up, I've just lost so much pace. Like I really struggled to take the correct lines. Like, I really enjoyed it in the morning. Yeah, just really annoyed there because the driver behind just basically pushes me out of the way, and it absolutely kills my momentum. It's not the worst overtake ever, but the fact it basically pulled the handbrake on my kart and meant I then lost momentum for the long acceleration all the way down the back straight. Was really killer, and it meant I lost, I think, about 2 seconds on that lap, which was really unfortunate. But it goes to show why in the earlier races I was okay letting people by, because you're only losing half a second if you just lift off a bit early. Losing 2 seconds there is just the end of the world, really. I decided to sort of stay out for as long as I possibly could. That wasn't really the right call. You can see making a half decent first stop, and then again go for the next one, making again another good stop. Just coming out of no man's land, and yeah, just really not happy about the situation. Coming out in 7th place. I think I had a driver closing in on me a bit at the end. But yeah, I was just really trying to find where the grip was. I was braking a lot later at the end, where I should have been, but it was a bit too little too late really at that point. So after that put me down in 39th place overall, but it put me 6th in my class, which was far above my expectations. I've already guaranteed making it into the top half of my class. I need to win this race though if I'm going to challenge those top 5, because they're starting a final ahead of me, and that's just not going to happen. There's quick drivers both ahead and behind me. So let's just see what we can do and see if we can keep this 6th place in my class. And here we are now for the E final. There's 10 drivers once again in this, but it's a 20-minute race rather than 15 minutes as it was earlier, and we have to make 2 pit stops. Let's see what we can do. There's going to be a lot of time to make progress, but a lot of time to drop back as well. In this very first lap I was really worried about going defensive, and I've got some quick drivers behind me, and I just don't want to lose out. It was a pretty good start, I'd say, sort of able to hold a good gap to both the drivers ahead and behind. I'm not having to worry about defending. You can see just braking really late there. I'm already much better on the brakes, and using the grip a lot more. The 2 drivers ahead, they are in the pro class, whereas I'm only in the amateur class, but that doesn't necessarily mean they definitely will be quicker. Like, they're clearly in the same final as me for a reason. You can see I just have a lot more pace through those couple of hairpins. So let's just see what we can do. See, coming onto the next lap again, a bit more pace there, and once again just able to carry a bit more speed through these hairpins. Like, these were my 2 favourite corners of the whole track, especially when it was the lower grip in the morning. You could really sort of slide your way through, but now about 12 hours later into the day, that's how long the day has taken, and yeah, just not able to take those slides, not able to slide it as much as we've done earlier. But that's fine, it just really changes how it goes. Now I would say I'm slightly getting held up. Like, I was only getting held up in those couple of corners. The driver ahead was quicker the rest of the track. You can see, like, he would genuinely pull an advantage, and I wouldn't be held up on any of the other corners. But the second we came into those 2 hairpins, I would already be closing back in. So really, I should have been pitting right now, and I just didn't. I got so in my head with that first race where I pitted really late and it worked out, but I just wasn't being sensible. And there you can see now, I only made that mistake because of the driver ahead. I was worried about making contact, and I just hit the brakes just a little too hard. And I've just lost like a second or so. You can see how much it affects you down the whole back straight. Once again, still not needing to defend, but yeah, I'm not helping myself. I'm probably a 10th quicker than the driver ahead at the moment. But you can see coming to the final corner, I just absolutely dive bombed in a place where you don't dive bomb. They made a briefing in the morning, and one of the things they said was, don't pit on lap 1, and you probably don't want to dive bomb into the final corner. And we've seen both of those today. So clearly not everyone's listening. As we come to a replay of it, you can see I get to the apex, and just as I'm there, he dives in and completely hit me on my side. Throw my hand in the air, and so does he as well. Interesting to see why he was throwing his hand in the air, whether it's just a, yeah, I know, I've hit you, let's just get going, or if it was more of a, why did you turn into the corner, which would be a bit ridiculous, but who knows, might be a heat of the moment thing. As we jump forward now, about halfway through the race, I haven't made my pit stop yet, but I know it's about time. Just kind of lost sight of the driver that I was racing, really. Just need to dive into the pits. as we come through the first gate, making a really good stop. That's the best reaction that I've managed to get all day. And then coming through the second one, even better. That was a really amazing pit stop, so I'm really pleased with that. But now I just need to see what we can do, get my head down. The reason I pitted is because a couple of drivers have caught up to me. You can see them going by there. And unfortunately, I'm just making mistakes, so they're actually managed to pull a bit of an advantage. Definitely not what I want to be doing. You can see now, yeah, they've managed to pull even a bit clearer now. Which is a bit of a shame, really. It's becoming sort of quite near the end of the race already. It's only 10 laps to go. It's probably 5 minutes left, as you can see on the boards up ahead. Coming by the pits now, you can see I'm making up some positions as we come by, as the drivers do pit. But you can see that driver in the red suit up ahead is the driver I'm trying to chase down. You can see it's a gap of 2.2 seconds, but let's just see what we can do. I already made one pit stop that was quicker, but as we come through the laps now, the gap is just growing ever so slightly. It's really annoying when definitely had some good pace at the time. But yeah, just coming to the pits now, you can see going through the first pit stop, and again another really quick pit stop. And then coming to the second one now, a bit slower than the first, but still quite good. Still definitely pleased with that as we come out now. Lost a couple more positions now in 5th place, but let's just see what we can do. Not long now to go in this race. I know I've got a driver sort of slowly starting to close in on me as well from behind, so I just need to keep my head down and keep going. Unfortunately, I haven't really been able to pull much of a gap to the driver ahead. I've just been making a lot of mistakes. And you can see there, he just comes out of the pits ahead of me. It's 2.3 seconds. My pit stop was about a second quicker, so it just goes to show that I'm just making too many mistakes through the rest of the laps, really. You can see now the gap behind is 1.1 seconds. I know I had a driver right on my tail through the rest of this race. I didn't realise for how long I had them on my tail though, so I knew I was being closed in, and I couldn't put a foot wrong really. There's 2 laps to go now. I've managed to pull a bit more of a gap, 1.3 seconds, so I definitely did have some good pace. It's now back down to 1.1 seconds as we come onto this final lap. If I'm going to be making mistakes, it's just going to let the driver behind close right in and probably go for a risky move. So let's see what we can do now. Got a really good drive through that corner, onto the back straight now as we come on down. There's only a few more corners to go. You can see the gap is stabilising just enough as we come through now. And this is going to be a 5th place in this race, which I would definitely take, having started it in 3rd. Yeah, very pleased with that one. Yeah, just very sore arms though. But yeah, coming to the end of that one, you can see I managed to finish in 41st place and 6th in my class. I'm absolutely over the moon with that. That is an absolutely great start to the season at a track I've never raced at before. The next round is going to be at Castle Combe, which is a track I know very well, so I'm hoping to definitely beat that and hopefully even get a podium in my class. I was photographing at Formula Fast outside of my races, so if you are interested in getting some photos, do let me know. I'll be with my camera as well at Castle Combe. Hopefully I'll see you all there. Thank you very much.